Good evening, you lovely lot, and welcome to the Toon Review, where tonight it is obviously the Loaded Toon Review. We have Daz and we have Pete with us at the minute. Now, whether any of the Loaded lads pop up later on, I don't know, or even Alex, who is somewhere in Scandinavia, I believe. I haven't a clue where the guy is. So there's me and Billy, and obviously the four of us will be back to talking Newcastle United, and it feels good to say that. The World Cup is coming to a close. There's a week left in it. England are out. And we can now start the build-up to the Premier League season starting up again. It feels good to say that because it feels so long since we've actually done a show, Billy, anyway, on Newcastle United. You know, we meant to do the watch-along last week. I was poorly, and then you were stuck in traffic, so that didn't even happen. So, you know, I know you guys have done some stuff on Loaded, on transfers and stuff. Alex does have some stuff for a transfer show on this channel, so whenever I hear back from him, I mean, he could be under 7 foot of snow for all I know, but we hope he's all right. But Alex, if you do see this at some point, please do message me and let me know you're alive. But never mind. Right, just to let you know, guys, as well, that as usual, tonight is the last night to place any orders for any Toon Review merchandise that you may want for Christmas. Susan will be putting an order in very, very late tonight. So if you want your merch, then you need to get to the website basically in the next couple of hours. Now, obviously, we do have a couple of new mugs to show you that are now live on the website as well. There's this one, which is the I'm 6'5". Susan decided to do that on the basis of all the comments that I got outside the ground, thinking you're a lot taller than you look on camera. So it's yes, true. Well, yeah, cheers, Pete. I am 6'5", believe it or not. I may look about 3'4" on the camera, but that's the way it is. And of course, our countdown, we're gonna rise. There it is. Hashtag the Toon Review. So if you want one of those, get to the website. And we've also got the car signs now to stick in the back window to promote the Toon Review there. So they are on the website as well. So basically, you can find it all right here. So let's get down to business. I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me if you like it. Tell me if you like it now. I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me how you like it. Let's get down to business. So there you go, the toonreview.co.uk. I will be selfishly plugging that again later on in the show, obviously, when more people are with us. But yes.
Did you not realise that the World Cup copied you with that?
Well, I did. Yeah, I heard a few comments on well, I saw a few comments on a few of the watch-alongs that started that music before the matches, and I thought, damn them. But there you go. We get everywhere, Pete. We get everywhere. Right, let's go through a couple of comments and say hello to everybody before we get into the grind. Ches, modern backstage, of course, with the usual rules. Thou shalt not do this or do that, and just enjoy the show. Stephen says we have the players, but Southgate no tactical nous and substitutions were too late. Hope he walks. Time will tell on that one. Good evening to Rach. Good evening, Chapers. Trolls in the house. Good evening. Everybody saying hello. Jack says, evening teams, hope everyone's well and over yet another letdown. Now back to the real deal. How are the lads and lasses? Troll says, what if we go for João Felix and sell Wood to Everton?
Yeah. Why not?
I think we want him for that.
Absolutely.
Apparently, if rumours to be believed, Aston Villa are head of the table for João Felix. I don't get it.
Well, there's a bloody surprise, isn't it? You know what I mean? Newcastle interested in the player, and who else is, of course, the cheese-loving Brummies down there. No disrespect to them, of course. That's just a saying from Jimmy, who said that apparently Birmingham smells of cheese. Good evening, Jimmy, if you're watching. Mary says, oi, oi, gang, how's your chilly Sunday evening? Mason, good evening. Geordie Howe man says, so pleased the World Cup is nearly over. Bring back the bread and butter of our daily fix of the Toon. Now, Billy, I mean, we commented last week when we did the review on the Al Hilal game, of course, and how competitive that game actually was, and really put us into good stead when we've come home, because we've had a competitive game.
I noticed today that Villa played Chelsea in a friendly. That was on kind of YouTube. I had a little look at that as a football fix. But yeah, I think the game we had was a great advertising thing as well. Not just for the game itself, but the game itself was really beneficial to us. So some young lads come in, do a good job. Plenty of promise in some of them, and some of the old heads just hit the ground running as if they haven't been away. So yeah, I think we're fine once we get to the Carabao Cup game. I think we carry on where we left off.
Raring to go. Chomping at the bit they are. Louis, good evening. Samsonite, good evening. Louis says his kebab was nicer than the England game. Well, that's nice to know, Louis. Thank you very much. But that won't do your wrestling career any good, eating that kind of crap, matey. Spacebar says, good evening, everyone. I hope you're all well. Well, we're getting there. James, good evening. Aaron, good evening. Jamie's in the house. Hello to the great hosts and to you, Daz.
He never lets me down. Jimmy always having a little dig. I'm surprised he didn't get in when you were showing that mug that with that 6'5" and having a little dig at me. He thinks, for some reason, I'm tiny.
Well, I think that might be an Irish thing, Daz. I don't know. You know, you just think. I mean, I don't understand how people think I'm like 4 foot tall. I mean, I don't get it. You know, it's very difficult to fit a 6'5" frame into this sort of camera angle with a green screen right behind us. It's like you're destined sort of push your seat back. You know what I mean? Otherwise, the whole background will start to wobble and shit like that. But it's really amazing how many people have come up to me and go, "Oh, you're a lot taller than you look on camera." I think it's because I had a dig at Alex, because I called Alex about 5 foot, didn't I, Billy? And I think it's gone on from there. And people think, "Oh, you're much bigger than you look on camera." So, and never mind. Lisa, good evening to you. John Askew says, evening. Is anyone else looking forward to the return of normal football? Absolutely, John. Daz, what did you think of the friendly against Al Hilal?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. As I was saying, we did a bit of a Q&A show, but we kind of did a bit of a review as well. And the panic at the start was, can I actually see it? Because you only put it on in the UK, but I managed to get a VPN working and got to see it. But no, it was great to see them playing. I haven't seen them for so long, and then so many the young lads getting a run out as well. Great to see Miggy getting 2 and J7 getting 2. So. No, we're to go and bring on the next friendly and then back into the real stuff. And hopefully we can hit the ground running and back to where we were, because that's the danger. We were on we might have needed a break, but we wanted to make sure that the run is maintained. So let's hope we can hit that ground running.
Yeah, and Pete, I mean, Miggy looks like he's raring to go again, doesn't he? I mean, the pace of him on against Al Hilal was incredible, and they did have to resort to pretty drastic tactics and knock him off the ball a few times.
And that did worry me, I've got to be honest, because the last thing we need is Miggy picking up an injury through players trying to take him out in a friendly, because he's just that good. He was brilliant. Great to see him play again. There was always, I think, most Newcastle fans would have had a question mark, you know, with that break. Is it going to stop his flow? Is he going to find it hard to kind of get back to where he was? But he looks like he's just carried straight on, and hopefully he'll continue that on, Saturday, and then going on into Bournemouth and Leicester, because he's the guy that could get quite easily double figures for us this season and really kind of take us forward. And he's just infectious, isn't he? He's pace.
Well, he is. I mean, his smile's infectious, his play's infectious, and it gets everybody going. And of course, great to see Joe Linton getting 2 goals, and of course, Dylan Stevenson as well, who've we've been shouting out on this channel for him to get an opportunity. And brilliant run, great pass from Fraser, and it was a tap in, but he still had to finish it, didn't he? So Oliver B says massive shout out to Billy Trey. What a guy. He sorted a ticket for me for the Leeds game on New Year's Eve. Thank you so much, top guy. Well done, Billy. And that's what we do. We've given so many tickets away first half of the season, Billy, on the channel. So we will have more to give out, of course, moving into the new year. But tickets are getting so hard to come by. So absolutely well done, Billy, on that. And starting from tomorrow, we will have lots and lots of giveaways for members. We've got loads of mugs, key rings, all sorts of stuff to give away as well. So if you're not a member, hit that join button underneath and become a member of the Toon Review. Lots of stuff to give away for our members. Billy, were you going to say something there just before I kept?
Yeah, it wasn't just me that sorted out Oliver's ticket. There was a couple of people involved, so thanks to them also. They know who they are.
Excellent, brilliant, lovely. Paul Gallant, pleased you're not missing the show, having a poo, mate. Great to see you. Kamal, good evening to you. Somebody on Facebook says, evening to you, family and Loaded guys. Keep up the good work, lads. Thank you so much. Stu is in the house. Good evening to you. Keith, everybody then saying hello. Paul's got the show on the big screen. Wow. We're honoured, Paul. We're honoured. Les, good evening to you. Jimmy says Daz is 3'4".
Well, lay you down, Daz.
Yeah. So no, he never lets me down, Jimmy. I'll have to send him a picture of myself and Richie. Then I think I'll turn the attention from myself onto Richie. Sorry, Richie, I owe you one.
By the way, a massive happy birthday to Richie as well. Was it yesterday or the day before?
It was yesterday.
It was yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah. Happy birthday, Richie. I did send him a message on Facebook as well. So hope you had a great day, buddy. Where is he tonight? Where is Richie?
Oh, he'll be back. He it might be closer to Christmas that he comes back, or into the new year. So, but he will be back. Don't worry about that.
I just thought he might have been a bit hungover. That's all.
It could be.
Godfather's in the house. Good evening. By the way, Jimmy, I hope you're better, mate. I know you've been in hospital the other day, so I hope everything's all right with your health, mate. And it's good to see you back on. And looking forward to coming on TTR Friday. So I'm going to have to get another disclaimer made up for Jimmy because I've got one for Billy. I do hover over the mute button on a Friday night when Billy and Jimmy get going, and of course the King of Qatar will be joining us as well, Roy Caviani. And Roy, thank you very much for sending me the videos from Qatar. Unfortunately, every time I put them up on the channel, FIFA shut me down. I would have to take them off, even the stuff outside of the ground, which I do not understand. But it is what it is. But thank you very much. I know, Roy, you've put some stuff up on your own Twitter account and stuff like that and had it taken down as well. So very strange, but it is what it is. And I'm going to do another basically shout out to try and find if V Taylor is okay, because we haven't heard from V for a number of weeks now. And I know a lot of people have been asking where V is because we haven't seen her in the comments or anything like that. We haven't heard anything from her. So if anybody knows where V is or if she's okay, can you let us know, because we're a bit concerned about V at the minute. So if anyone has heard from her, please get in touch and let us know that she's okay. V, if you're watching, but you don't want to come on the chat, that's fine. Just send me a message and let me know you're okay, chicken, because we do miss you in the chat.
Just on that, Paul, and we had a similar situation. We had a regular guest that would either pop on or be always in the chat and enjoy the banter as well, and then went missing for 5 or 6 months. We were very worried. Where were they? But they did appear again then, so we knew they were okay. So, but yeah, it is concerning when someone is disappears and for no apparent reason.
It is, and she's been a big part of the channel as well. She's won quite a lot of prizes as well. Bless her. She's won tickets and stuff like that. But we hope she's okay. John Askew says Toon Review and Loaded Mag go together like Botman and Share. There you go. That's a good comparison, John. I like it. I like it. In fact, I don't just like it. I bloody love it, lad. Oh God. Me head. I had a fall today, guys, yet again. Well, I didn't have a fall. I walked into the door frame again just to prove my height. Susan's door into the back garden is not very high. And that's the second time I've done it. The first time I really got bad concussion from it. I have a tennis ball on the back of my head. It's a little bit sore, and I'm a little bit woozy to say the least. But we battle on. Trull says, "Come on, Jimmy. He is at least 3'5". Look, I'll vouch for Daz. He's a lot bigger than that, to be honest. He's at least 3'7". So come on, let's give him an opportunity. Thanks, you're very welcome. Will Smith's in the house. Not the real one. Unless he's just coming in secretly with a different profile pic, but there you go. Daniel, good evening. Hi guys. Up the Toon players back in injured is a massive positive. Yes, coming back from injury. We spoke about that earlier. Pete, were you a bit surprised that you didn't see Isak take any part in the game? Does it concern you that he didn't take any part because he was supposed to be fit?
It does concern me, purely because he's already been out a number of weeks even before the World Cup break. So it's not like he got injured in the Chelsea game, for example, and it's a case of he's got 4 weeks to get fit.
Yeah,
he's been injured for quite a while now. I know he had a setback, and whether it's just precautionary or not, I don't know. But it is a concern because we've only seen him for 3 games. Look, I'm not doubting his quality. We know how good he is. He's already proved it. In the few games that we've seen him, but it is a concern because we want him back. Obviously, he's our record signing, and we're going into a really tough second third of the season, and we want all of our players fit and firing and ready to go. So the sooner we get him back, the better. It is a slight concern for me. Yeah, I don't know what you guys think.
Well, Billy, I mean, Eddie Howe did say that he wouldn't be taking part in the friendlies, which I do find worrying because if he's fit, why isn't he taking part in the friendlies to get that match fitness up?
Yeah.
No, especially once we heard the injury was just a kind of moan and muscle thing. It's been like 3 months now, nearly. Got to September when he got injured, and it's now December. So yeah, it is concerning. Yeah, definitely. I'd have thought all that rest they've had and time to recuperate, he'd have been ready for the friendlies. Clearly not. The next step, obviously, then is the Carabao Cup game. Does he get a run out in that? If not, we're looking at a busy Christmas period where we're going to be lacking our £60 million striker. So it is very concerning. I have to agree.
Daz, what do you think? Do you think that maybe the club have been a little bit, not dishonest, but they haven't really told us the real, what's going on with him?
Yeah, perhaps, but Eddie Howe, you can't always trust him when he says that people aren't going to play. But yeah, Isak wasn't training; he was kind of on his own in the training camp, and you would imagine getting a few minutes under his belt, and then the upcoming in that friendly game, especially because it doesn't matter. And that led us into, we kind of talked a bit about this in our Q&A show as well, that because at the time there was kind of doubts of Wilson as well, because he had some kind of a knock for England, and then Wood coming off in that friendly game out in Saudi. So we were kind of saying that we do need a kind of winger / striker, a young winger / striker to come in, and is okay with kind of playing second fiddle and just getting some minutes in different positions. We do need some kind of a backup as we go into the season, especially if there's some kind of concerns over Isak. So. Yeah.
Well, I guess regarding
Wilson, it makes absolutely no sense, even in Southgate world, that he didn't get any minutes last night. Certainly the last 20 minutes. Unless he's actually injured, which would make sense, wouldn't it?
Well, he did miss a training session, didn't he, because of a slight niggle. But look, they were saying it on the radio today about Wilson, how why on earth didn't he come on? Because he was the way he roughs up defenders and he runs the channels and things like that, which was nice to actually hear pundits actually praising Callum Wilson for what he does and does a lot better than Harry Kane, let's be honest. I mean, but you know what? England will always be England under Southgate, I'm afraid. He does have his favourites. We know he does. And, of course, Harry Kane dictates when he comes off or he doesn't come off. And, that's just the way it is. Lisa says, is anyone else glad the World Cup is over and we can get back to concentrating on the Toon? Indeed. It's not quite over yet, though, Lisa. We've got the semi-finals, the semi-finals and the final, which we'll be having watch-alongs on this channel to finish off, of course, the World Cup. I mean, listen, I'm quite looking forward to the semi-finals. I'm really intrigued to see how Morocco do because, it would be fantastic if Morocco could win the World Cup. I mean, wouldn't that just be incredible? It'd be a massive boost for African football, but not just that, a massive boost for world football to see a team like Morocco just winning the World Cup. It would be staggering. It'd be like Denmark winning the Euros, except on a massive, grander scale. Incredible. John Noble says, do Leicester still owe us money for Perez? If yes, do you think we would knock the money off the purchase price for Maddison? That's come up many times before. Pete, you're down that way. Any Maddison talk going around Leicester?
The Maddison talks, the main topic of conversation with Leicester fans. I was out with a couple last night. We're at one of those fan fest places where you watch the England game, and they're season ticket holders. They know the score. They know he's going to leave at some point. The lads that I speak to, they believe that anywhere between 50 and 60 million, and he gets sold. That's their mindset. They know he's going at some point.
Yeah.
They, in their mind, would rather have money for him and to be able to reinvest. A little bit like what they did with Fofana, and then they've got this new lad in, and they're really impressed with him at centre back. So they'd rather reinvest and get that money in. Because he's got no intentions of seeing his long-term future at the club. But yeah, for me, it's a no-brainer for me. I'm not saying we're guaranteed to get him in January, but I would definitely show our intent, because then in Maddison's mind, with the boys, turning his mind, or whilst in the England camp, you've got 2 back-to-back windows where we've shown our intent to sign him, and if we don't get him in January, that will definitely play a huge part in his thinking going into the summer. And if we're sitting in Europe playing European football, fingers crossed, hopefully Champions League football, then he comes to Newcastle. But the Leicester fans are resigned to him leaving. I speak to quite a lot of them. It's just a case of when and how much.
Billy, you're quite confident he's coming, aren't you? Listen, Ian Wright said that he wanted to come. He's quite confident that Maddison wants to come to Newcastle. We've heard it from various other sources. And, of course, Maddison putting all that Newcastle stuff up on his Instagram and getting interviewed about it. It just seems like if there is one player that we're going to get in January, I think they are going to really make a go for Maddison, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, he wants to come. The club want him. It's just a case of crossing the I's and dotting the T's as far as Leicester are concerned with what money they get. And if we pay the money they want, I think he'll definitely come.
How much do you reckon, Daz?
I'm saying 50, 55 million. I wouldn't go above that. But I like the way you went to the head of the James Maddison fan club there and Pete first. I dread if Maddison goes somewhere else, I don't know what we're going to do with Pete.
Well, it's going to be a similar situation, Daz, to me and Conor Cody. I was all set for Conor Cody coming to Newcastle, and the man is dead to me now. Very rarely gets mentioned on the channel anymore, apart from when Billy, etc., take the mickey out of us. But he isn't, I was all set for Conor Cody coming, and Peter's all set for James Maddison signing. So, it is going to be like a funeral if we do a Loaded Toon review show, say, in February after the window's closed and Maddison isn't a Newcastle player. I mean, I'll be gutted. Billy will be gutted. We'll all be gutted.
Imagine that.
Oh, dear me.
The one thing is, the one thing I always keep in mind is that we're after a pool of players. So I'm not kind of hanging my hopes on James Maddison. But in my mind, I'm thinking about how good James Maddison is, his goals and assists, and what he can do for Leicester and how he's playing for Leicester this season. They've been terrible for most parts of the season. And I'm just thinking, if we want to make a statement, like we did with Bruno, like we did with Botman, if you want to make a statement, you go out there and you buy a ready quality player at 25, 26 years old. Equally to that is English. And that is a big thing. And I think it's a massive, massive thing for Eddie Howe. He wants to buy the top quality players, but he also wants to buy top quality English players as well. To get that balance within the squad. And for me, I think it would make a lot of the big teams, a lot of the people in the media, it would make a lot more people stand up and take notice of Newcastle. We've gone out there,
absolutely,
best English talent that's around, and that would show our intent more than anything.
Yeah, of course, Billy's best mates with Callum Wilson and 2 Coventry lads.
Yeah, if he doesn't come, I'll go and put dog shit for his letterbox. There you go.
Right. Well, the views of Billy Trey are not necessarily the views of the Toon Review YouTube channel. So if James Maddison's parents or wherever it is get dog shit through the letterbox, knock on his door, not mine, right? Just like
there will be a video of the same going out on the channel.
Yes, absolutely. Samsonite says, I feel we might get more for wood, pound for pound, if we label him as organic premium firewood. Okay, not a fan, obviously. Spacebar saying, yes, Lisa, let's get back to real matters. John Askew says, it's weird. Really weird. We have every chance versus Bournemouth and Sheffield Wednesday. And if we get through, we'll be fighting on 3 fronts for silverware. How mad is that? Yes, it is mad. But look, let's just bring us back down slightly from the clouds. I mean, look, if we finish in the Champions League spot, it's going to be unbelievable, right? It will be incredible. The scenes at St. James's Park on the final home game of the season will be mental. In fact, I joke with Michael Marsden really when we come out that ground saying, what's it going to be like if we actually achieve something? And you're going to have to basically get your sleeping bag because that's where you'll be living for the next few days because you'll not get out of St. James's Park. You're just not. It's bad enough on a normal match day when we win, but that sort of thing is on a higher scale. But listen, I genuinely believe that Eddie Howe may be thinking, let's be realistic and let's say, right, the position we're in now, a European spot, whether it be the Conference, the Europa League, or the Champions League, one of them is achievable, Billy.
Yeah, I think it might be a good thing if we don't qualify Champions League this year because the expectations then suddenly rise massively, don't they? I think a European place will be ample. It'll be a massive achievement that in itself. Champions League, it's definitely attainable, but it does put pressure on future years. So yeah, I think we should just be happy with what we get. Really, the European football will be a fantastic achievement. I said 6th at the beginning of the season. I'm still saying 6th.
Yeah, you did. You did say 6th actually. So it's going to be exciting, Billy. That's one thing it's going to be. Matthew says, first time catching the show live. Love the show. Keep it going, guys. Chipper says, Daz, I preferred you with your private pile haircut over lockdown. Wow.
Yes, my hair grows back, Sam, Mr. Sam Chippers. But yeah, I'll have to get an old chop again just to keep Chippers happy. Actually, before I forget, I'm going to do a shameless plug.
Oh,
because we're, as you might have heard us mention before, we're on a march towards 5K. We are about 180 subscribers away from that. So if you're watching this channel and you're watching the show and keep continuing watching the show and the content, but also give Loaded Mag NUFC a watch and hit that subscribe button and watch a few of our shows now and again. We're not as regular on the shows as Paul and the crew here, but catching on playback or if there's no show going on here, you know where we are. Just hit that subscribe button and you'll see our shows pop up.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what collaborations are for, matey. But listen, the link to the Loaded channel is in the description right at the top. So just click on that. That'll take you to the channel. And do drop them a subscribe because they do deserve to be over 5K. You see some other channels on YouTube and you think, how the hell have they got that? They genuinely do deserve a lot more. So please go and subscribe to Loaded. We are by far the best 2 Newcastle United channels out there. I'm going to say it. A shameless plug again. So come on, guys, and help us get up to 16. We were on 15 and a half or something. So get us to 16 and bigger and better, and we keep marching on. There you go. So if you are enjoying tonight as well, don't forget to hit that like button, guys. Subscribe, notification bell, sorted. Shoot the Thrill, who's always a man or a woman who is willing to take the pee out of me at any chance they get. Don't worry, Paul. It's just that we don't think you're a man of stature. Well, isn't that pleasant? Shoot the Thrill, please go to the bathroom, look in the mirror, have a conversation with yourself, lift up the toilet seat lid, put your head in it, and take your face for a shite. Good lad. John Noble says, has anyone seen the improvements at our training ground? I've seen a few little pictures. That there hasn't really been a lot of. I think there will be in the coming weeks leading up to the start of the season again, because obviously Newcastle have been away. They haven't been training there, but I think there will be some. Obviously, there was a lot of work done since the Premier League came to a postponement or a stop because of the World Cup. So it'll be interesting to see. Jay Bone says, you're bigger than you look on camera. That's what she said. Oh, well, there you go.
Got the right name for that comment.
Yes, indeed. Thanks, Billy, for that swift piece of... get lost. John says, Paul, do you have bother at the turnstile due to your size? I'm a similar height, but very slightly slimmer. with lots of exclamation marks. So I don't know what that means. It's a bit of a squeeze at the Leazer's end. Yes, John, I do. I don't have quite the same problem as Michael Marsden. He has to have a crane, a little digger on the other side to lift him over. It is a very tight fit for anybody really over 5'4". Daz, obviously, the way people have said on the chat, you can't actually reach the turnstile, never mind go around it.
No.
You go under it, but it is a problem for people who are of a bigger size.
Hang on a second. I'm 5'11". So, because if people are going to they'll see me sometimes at St. James Park and go, I'm not tiny. So no, I'm going to stick that picture up about Richie and myself. Now, just to clarify a few things.
Listen. We all get it, Daz, right? Apparently, I look about 5'2" on camera, and it's well, you know. Paul J, good evening. Lisa says, I think all the turnstiles at the Leazer's corner are tiny, even for normal-sized people. They are. They need to look at that actually, because it's terrible. It's old school turnstiles, and they need sorting out. Amanda, come on, let's get it sorted.
At least I've got to do the walk of shame that I have to do when I ever go. I have to get escorted through the gates.
Yeah,
and then suddenly put a limp on to get in the lift. Pretend you kind of
you come to turnstiles and it's like I ain't getting through that. And suddenly, oh, I feel that bad knee's gone again, Billy. It's gone again. After sort of as the gates open and everybody's looking, thinking, what's the matter with him? And then you think, right, I need to put this limp on here. Just drag me right foot behind us. Hey! Oh, dear me. Yeah. Oh, God. I've just had a text off Michael Marsden. Hang on. Cheers, Paul, with the laughing emoji. Yeah, Michael knows what I'm talking about, though, because it is really, really cramped to try and get in those turnstiles. And Michael complains about it every single match because people with, it's all right for people with 6-packs, but for us people with 1-packs, it's very, very difficult. So, yeah, that does need looking at, and very, very, very quickly. Spacebar
hang on a second, Paul, yeah. Just on that, like, Pete, you've gone to a few away grounds. Are there, like, let's say for the Spurs ground, are there better facilities there and the turnstiles? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, much better. We think ours is bad. Everton's at Goodison Park.
Let's not even talk about that. Let's not even give them the time of day because
disgrace. But
that's because it's a skip.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's you have to hand your ticket to a rat as you're going into Goodison Park. So that's understandable. But Leicester, when I went there last season for the away game, I got in no bother. It wasn't even a squeeze. Yeah. It was just in you go, son. Enjoy the game. Cesare says, when Paul's at a nightclub, people use him as a meeting place in case they get separated. Jeez, Ches. Aaron says, anything on transfer gossip tonight? Listen, you'll always get the rumours. But what I will say is, look out for the transfer shows on both channels because, we'll give you a rundown of what's going on in the media. And, we do it differently. And that's what the beauty is. We will... go through the stats of the players and look at them and see what they would bring to Newcastle United. And so do look out for both channels on the transfer shows and you will get as much information as we can possibly bring you, to be fair. Spacebar says, Paul must have put a big screen in the loo. Oh, dear. I like coffee. Good evening. Hazard says, some news, we're going for Pulisic if Chelsea lowered to under 40 million.
That was the link today.
Yeah, look, I mean,
came from the US as well.
Well, exactly. So, do you believe it? I mean, Alex tends to believe that the US, any reports about transfers over there are a pile of horse boo. But he's been linked with us before. To be fair, would he excite you as a signing, Daz?
Yeah, like before, towards the end of the summer, we were looking at him, we were talking about him, and we were saying, that he wasn't getting games at Chelsea. It makes sense before the World Cup, and he hopefully get a few games for Newcastle and build up towards the World Cup. Now the World Cup is over, but he's still, he, as well as being a good player, and he has shone in the World Cup. He's marketing potential as well because he's opened up the US to us, marketing and more supporters. And in that sense, I can see how it would makes sense as well as being a player as well. So and with Darniel's in there, you could see him thinking along that line as well. But we're going to be linked to so many players. It's going to chop and change, and we're only going to buy a handful at that. So there's going to be linked to 100.
I'm not sure even a handful. I think we're possibly looking big in the summer for more, of a handful of players coming in. Just rearranging the squad again, especially if we. I think it all depends on where we finish in the league and what European competition that we're going into. Cesare says, regarding V, it's been 6 weeks since we last heard from her, so it is a long time. I Like Coffee says, Daz is looking awesome with the dazzling lights behind him. What is that retro look, Daz? It looks like you're going on, you could be going on the Crystal Maze or something with a background like that.
It's the Tron look I've gone for tonight.
Right.
I just got bored. I need some kind of a background, so I said, I'll put this on. And I do lower my chair down, Jimmy, so that you can get to the Loaded Mag NUFC in the background.
You look like a walkout on FIFA. Look like a walkout on FIFA does.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And of course, Mr. Davey there with his Christmas tree wall there in the background.
Very nice.
Bringing the festivities very early in December.
Has to be done.
Indeed. I'm surprised that you haven't got a figurine of James Maddison sitting on the top of the tree, Pete.
Oh,
it's coming.
When the signing's done, it'll be there. Trust me.
Good stuff. Leighton says, Pulisic, Maddison, or Thuram, which one would you think would be more realistic this January, says Leighton? Out of the three, I'd say Maddison. Thuram's a good player, Pulisic a good player, but I think out of the three, if it was somebody I wanted, I'd go for Maddison. Billy?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Pulisic to me is too injury prone. To me, flatters to deceive on many occasions. When he's good, he's really good, but he's most of the time he's injured. So Thuram, I think, would be a great signing, but Maddison's the one that we need. I think would tick all the boxes.
Fair enough. Jimmy says he's fine health-wise. Great stuff, Jimmy.
I think I'm going to say...
Oh. Are you there, Daz?
I was just going to say that, we know the club want James Maddison. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
The delay's kicking in.
It is. Billy was blurry before, and now he sent the internet connection over to Ireland. But we've still got you, Daz. We've still got you.
Cool.
Anyway, Pete, who would you have out of the three of them? It's a stupid question to ask you, I guess.
If I had the choice, of course, Maddison would be the one. But as well, Thuram, he's only got 6 months left on his contract.
Yes, yeah.
Are they going to want to make some money on him? Possibly, because he's going to leave them regardless. And Pulisic wanted to move on, not necessarily to Newcastle, but he wanted to leave the club. I think it was the owners that forced that deal to stay, because I think Tuchel wanted him gone as well. He wasn't going to get an opportunity. So I'll be honest with you, I think there's an opportunity to get in any one of those three. And that's the beauty of having a pool of players now that we're looking at, and not just one target. But I think you could probably get two, because for me, and I said this when the first bid went in for Maddison, the one thing I said to a couple of the lads is that Maddison can play on either the left or the right hand side, because he's played there for Leicester, but he can also play as a number 8. So you can play him in a number of positions, whereas you could bring him in to be that additional number 8 as part of that front three in certain games. And then you can bring in a Thuram, who predominantly plays on the left, or you can bring in Pulisic, who can play on either flank. So you could bring in two very, very good players. And just imagine 2 out of that 3. You're massively struggling.
Well, we've been linked a lot with Thuram as well. Now, Thuram, you say there, he's got 6 months left on his contract. Newcastle may go to Thuram and say, right, we'll sign you on a free in the summer. Sign a pre-contract agreement. We don't necessarily have to bring him in January. If they want to make a marquee signing like a Maddison, etc., they may well just say to Thuram, look, this is what we can offer you. Let's thrash out a deal, finish the season where you are, and come to us in the summer on a free. it would appeal to Thuram because obviously you get a much bigger signing on fee. So it may well work for both clubs on that front. So again, we'll just have to see what Newcastle got. We don't know. We haven't a clue what's going on backstage with Newcastle or what their ambitions are or what players they want to bring in. We just that's why it's so exciting, to be honest, because we just don't know. Lisa says, Dazzler, why are they always picking on you? We'll wait about 10
Lisa.
seconds for Daz to answer that. Oh, there he is. Well, it's not. I mean, he gives as good as he gets, to be honest. I mean, when he's hosting shows, he gives as good as he gets, to be honest. But to be fair, I'm actually stuck up for him tonight. It's the guys in the chat that have been talking about his height. And, I still think that's because he's Irish. But I don't know. Hey, Jimmy, good to hear you're okay. Ian says, if Southgate resigns, do you think England will come calling for Eddie Howe? No. Because Eddie Howe... but Eddie Howe won't go. I do not think for 1 second that Eddie Howe is interested in the England job at the minute because he knows what he can achieve at Newcastle United. And you've said it before, Billy, as well, that with Eddie Howe, he is much more of a hands-on manager and he will miss that interaction on a daily basis.
Yeah, I agree with that. They'll definitely come calling. They'd be fools not to, but I think it's too soon for him. I think maybe in 10, 15 years' time. But it's a hard job to turn down, let's be honest. But I think he will. I think where he is, I think he's quite happy where he is.
Can I just add in there? I think Billy's absolutely right. I think we will start if, and it's a big if, Gareth Southgate leaves, because I personally think he might stay and see out his contract at the next Euros, because who else is there other than Eddie Howe that can come in and take the England manager's job? I do think they'll come in for him, but I think it won't even get to a formal offer. I think it will get to the point where the owners will say, no chance. Like, he's not going anywhere. But what you'll find is, in my opinion, is that the media will properly drum it up because they'll want to disrupt Newcastle United in any way, shape, or
110%,
and put pressure on Eddie Howe and making it a talking point, and try and disrupt the players. This is what they'll do. But does Eddie Howe? Look, I think I said it when we talked about it a while ago on one of the early collabs, and I know I've said it on Loaded as well. This job is bigger than England. Newcastle United's job right now is bigger than England. If you have the opportunity to win a trophy for Newcastle that hasn't been won for 60 odd years, right? You've got an opportunity to put yourself, as a legend status. We talk about Bobby Robson and Keegan and the likes. Like potentially, and in most people's eyes, probably would go above them because he's brought a trophy to the club. He's done what other great managers that have come before him haven't done. And for me, and I think for Eddie Howe, that's a bigger challenge and a better job than going to play.
I agree. I think it's a huge pull to be, to have the stature that he would have to bring a trophy to Newcastle United after all these years, is something that I think Eddie really believes he can achieve. And we all do, to be honest. Kamal says,
just on that, Paul.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that I think what Eddie would say if he was offered the England job, and he wanted to get some trophies under his belt and time with Newcastle. But then if you think back to the high performance podcast with Jake Humphries, I think in time. And when he has won something, a few trophies and he's put in all the groundwork, there'll be, and the England job will come up again, and then maybe he'll want to take it because he needs a bit of a break as well. If that makes any sense, it's further down the line. It's not anytime soon for Eddie Howe.
I think people forget how young Eddie Howe is. He's got a lot of years left in management, or as long as he wants to be. He could stay with Newcastle for many, many years, then take a break from football, come back, and then go again. So he's got plenty. Time is on his side when it comes to his age. Kamal says, "I love Shearer, but imagine Josko Gvardiol from Croatia. Him with Botman would be a fantastic pair." We've seen some real good central defenders in this World Cup, Bill.
Yeah, even the Australian lad, Sute, he was outstanding too, wasn't he? I mean,
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
he's been touring around the lower leagues and the Scottish Premier League. I think he could step into a Premier League side anytime tomorrow. Guardiola's obviously a quality one. France have got 2 or 3. Yeah, I think it's been more about defenders really than it has been attackers this World Cup. I'm perfectly honest.
Has any defender stood out for you, Pete?
No, he has.
Yeah.
I hate to pronounce his name because I don't want to get it wrong, but I've watched him obviously for Croatia. He's a very, very good centre back. The only issue I have is that he's a left-sided centre back, and we've already got Botman. So, are you going to play your centre backs with 2 left-sided or 2 left-footed centre backs? I don't know. Botman could probably play on the right, but he's not favourable. I think our next first choice centre back that will take over Shaw will be a right-footed one. I think they're going to look for balance, but he has been tremendous, and he'll go to the very top. He'll go to a top team. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, there's a few up in Meccano at France. I like him. I know he's at Bayern. He doesn't really play.
No, he doesn't. And, he used to be at Leipzig, didn't he? Way back, and I used to sign him a lot on FIFA and Football Manager when he was at Leipzig. And, I've liked him for a long time, but like you said, Pete, he doesn't get a lot of game time at Bayern at the minute. But he's a unit as well.
I'm going to say one player, and it's going to be controversial.
Right, you can't put James Maddison at centre back, Pete. Come on, that's too strong.
Paul, I can.
Well, you can, yeah.
But I'm not going to. It's going to be controversial, but one player I've really been impressed with, centre-back, is Harry Maguire. Do I think Newcastle are going to sign him? No. Would I want him? No. But look, that lad is taken a lot of stick in the last year.
So. Yep. We've said that as well, yeah.
Some of it fully deserved because he's been dreadful at Man United. But I tell you what, nobody would have expected him to put in the type of tournament that he has. And I think, with all the negativity, he's come out and he's been the best centre-back of him and Stones. He's been dangerous in the box. He was unlucky not to score last night. Yeah. And I think he's shushed a few of the doubters. And I've always had this mindset with Harry Maguire that actually, if he left Man United is a poison chalice at the moment. Yeah, and nobody's doing well. You've got a multi-winner in Varane that's playing shocking it there. You've got Jadon Sancho that was tearing up at Dortmund that's failing at Man United. I think if Harry Maguire goes somewhere else, I think Harry Maguire gets back to the player that people were loving him for. I just think
I think the Man United captaincy has had a big weight on his shoulders, and you're right. I mean, I've gone to town on him. Everyone's gone to town on him because of his performances, but we have praised him during the watch-alongs, and he's done really, really well. I think Stones has been good as well, to be honest. I think Stones bringing the ball out, some of his passing and things like that really, really good. So yeah, they have shone in this World Cup. And certainly shut a few people up, I think, which is what Harry Maguire wanted to do going into the tournament, I believe. Chris, good evening, matey. He says, evening, boys. He says, sorry I can't join tonight. Still logged on to work as we speak. Obviously, a lot of Avon work this time of year. It's extremely busy with all those lipsticks and foundations and stuff like that. Hope you're all well. We are, Chris. See you soon, buddy. Morocco have only conceded 1 goal, and that was an own goal as well, remember, and already breaking records, being the first African team in the last 4. Indeed, it's going to be interesting. Spacebar said they could... Sorry, Billy?
Their left back is absolutely awesome. Absolutely outstanding yesterday.
Yeah.
Really good.
They do have some good players. Of course, realistically, against France, it's literally France A against France B, isn't it? Because a lot of the Moroccan players were, of course, born in France, but... crazy that stat. I heard it today. It was absolutely bizarre. Yeah. Spacebar said Leicester could try and offload Tielemans in January instead of losing him for nothing in the summer. Tielemans didn't really light up the World Cup either. He had a big opportunity there, I think, to put himself in the window, and he hasn't, Pete.
You are absolutely right, Paul. Absolutely right. That was his opportunity to go out there and say, come sign me. I'm worth the money. And he, as well as Belgium, were very, very poor. And actually, I think in at least one of the games, Tielemans found himself on the bench. He didn't even a starter. And they were playing a 33, 34-year-old Axel Witsel ahead of him.
Yeah.
That tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
But going back to the original question, will Leicester get rid of him in January? I think they would get rid of him in January. I think it would be either him or Maddison. I don't think they'll get rid of both. But I genuinely believe, and this will show you the type of character that Tielemans is that I genuinely believe he'll wait till the summer because he'll get more money in the summer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If he leaves. And I think that tells you everything. Do you want to play like that in Newcastle? Probably not, because it tells you a lot about the character of the player.
He really needs a move though, just to kickstart his career again. Like he was he was top for me, and he's just been downward trajectory. He just needs a change and to a kickstart really for him. So, but I wish him all the best. I don't think he's going to come to Newcastle though. No, at this stage.
I don't think we need. Go on, Billy.
He's definitely hamstrung by Roberto Martinez though. The game I saw him play, he played him as a 6 next to Witsel. He's not a number 6 in all the quality in China. So I think the whole Belgium team was hamstrung by Roberto Martinez.
Well, we know you're a big fan of Martinez, Billy. But he's right. Listen, he blew it for Belgium. I mean, they had a real opportunity. I think you're right. It's poor management from him. David says, do you all think Daz should get a Maddison tattoo if we sign him? Well, I don't know why Daz. I would certainly say Pete. Just a whole back tattoo with just Maddison's face, Pete.
It's better than what Martin suggested, I suppose.
What did he suggest?
You've already touched on.
Oh no, let's not go there. Actually, if it's Martin suggesting something,
yeah, you took the conversation already.
Sometimes let me say Mason.
I have said that if Maddison signs in January, when all the loaded lads are up next together, I think it's in April for the Southampton game. I've said I'll get one. I'll get a tattoo as long as Daz gets one as well.
What people don't really realize is that David in the chat there is actually a tattoo artist, so he's trying to drum up a bit of business there.
Ah, right. Okay. Well, there you go. So I'm due another tattoo as well, actually, but I don't know what to get yet. Don't nobody suggest, but because I can imagine. Right. We've got $5 super chat from Seattle. Geordie, thank you very much. Buddy, I haven't actually seen you for a while. I hope you're well. Would prefer Mads, but Pulisic is really popular in the US. They had a World Cup ad. He was in calling him Captain America. 2026 is only 4 years away in the USA. Yes, it is. Maybe you're right, Daz. I mean, obviously a huge pull in America and expand that brand as well. So not just in the Middle East, but obviously North America.
All fronts.
He's fantastic. John says, how many players do you think we will get rid of in January? Will they be sold or loaned out? Well, I think we've got the same problem that we had in the summer. It's wages. Some of these players are on really good wages. But Billy, I think Fraser's the one that we've certainly looked at on this channel for possibly leaving.
Seems to be a bit of interest in him from Southampton also, doesn't there? So, yeah, I think he'd be off like a shot if he could get a move to Southampton. The likes of Richie, people like that, possibly also. But I don't see too many outgoings, if I'm honest. But we probably need to move 4 or 5 out, if I'm truthful.
Well, we know Richie wants to go to Portsmouth, don't we? He wants to finish his career at Portsmouth, so that would be an option, even on loan maybe for the rest of the season. But we'll see.
I think Darlow could be one. I think Darlow could be one.
I was going to say that, Billy. Yeah, Carey has surprised me. Pete, what about you? I mean, he had a wonderful game.
When Carey came in, I said straight away he's on number 2. I'd have him all day again ahead of Darlow, and he was good. I thought he played well. Made a couple of good saves. Was commanding at times. He already looked more. I felt. I don't know what you guys felt. I felt confident with him in goal than I would if it was Cole Darlow in goal. So I would look to move on Darlow. I'd look to move him on. He's got a lot of years left on his contract still at Newcastle. If we could get a nominal fee for him, if I was Newcastle, I'd take the hit like we did with Dwight Gale. Get him out the door, move him on. One player we haven't talked about that I think needs to move on, whether it's permanent or not, is Jamal Lewis. Jamal Lewis, he doesn't look anywhere type the player that we saw when he first signed for Newcastle. And the fact that Liverpool really wanted him tells you there's a player in there. But you're not really. We're never going to see him like hit the heights because he's third choice left back.
Third choice, yeah.
He needs to go out and get and play football. There was one or two lads that I speak to that were kind of hammering Jamal Lewis in the friendly game, saying like, why was he making these mistakes? Why is he out of position? Blah blah blah. He hasn't really played in a year. A year's a long time to not really play regular football, and you're not going to be sharp and on it if you're not playing regular. So he just needs to go out on loan. Now he's fully fit. Go and show us what he's all about, and then maybe come back and have another crack of it in the summer. And if not, maybe we cut ties.
I think you've got to remember as well, Pete, that I think Eddie Howe was willing to give him a go because he did give him a few games before he got injured. Of course, when it was at Anfield last season that he got the really bad injury, and he looked good in that game for the opening, whatever it was that he played. Because I think you were there, weren't you, Pete?
No,
it was Chris, wasn't it? Chris, it was Chris I bumped into there. And he looked really good. He was getting forward, and then obviously he's got his injury. But to me, you've got a guy who is now wanting first team football. He will want to play. He doesn't want to sit in his arse at that age. But when you're seeing if Matt Targett's not playing and you're seeing a centre back coming to left back, when you're a dedicated left back, it's got to hurt. Not so much for Matt Targett because he knows he's next in line and he can push Dan Burton all the way for a place. But I think you're right. I think Lewis is one of those that I think he's missed the boat because of injury, not because he's not good enough. Like you say, Liverpool were involved. I think definitely because of injury. I mean, Daz, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it is time for him to move now, because he's not going to get anywhere. Like he's got Dan Burn and he's got Matt Targett ahead of him on that left, and he's got Alex Murphy as well, who did really well in the few minutes. I know Pete's laughing straight away. Martin was a full friend.
Alex Murphy.
But he must be nearly ahead of him as well. So yeah, it's just for himself. I think he needs to move on to a championship club. I think is probably the way he'll go. No, that came about. Sorry, just to explain what Pete's doing. That is that when
last time I saw a sign like that was Timmy Mallet on Wackaday.
Great show, love that. But of course, Alex Murphy is from Galway, and I said get some minutes on the pitch, and I'll have a pint for you in the Christmas markets beer tent. And on Instagram, he came back to me on that. So that's why my Martin is having a field day. The football friends joke.
Very cool.
To be fair to him, he looked fantastic when he came on, didn't he? He looked so short for a 19-year-old.
Listen, we've got some good kids there, no doubt about it. Yeah. It's really
and more
exciting.
to come.
Yeah. John says, what happened with Shearer and Keegan coming back as ambassadors? I think Shearer definitely Billy in the sort of backstage. It certainly does stuff for Newcastle United when it comes to signing players. You can't tell me he doesn't, and probably Keegan as well. I think Amanda Staveley did state months and months ago that they were looking for them to have some sort of roles at the club.
I think Kevin Keegan's immensely busy with after-dinner talks and charity work at the minute.
He is,
so
yeah.
Whether he's not committing himself to the club because of that, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Alan Shearer is involved somewhere along the line, and it'll be made official sooner rather than later, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boys, I want to ask you. I want to ask you a question about that, about the Alan Shearer ambassador role. Do you think Alan Shearer is more of an ambassador in the media and what he does with BBC and all the rest of it, or would you want him in an official capacity to be an ambassador? Because I'm not sure how more influential he would be as an ambassador, an official ambassador of the club, compared to what he actually does in the media. I don't know what you guys think about.
Well, I think he loves his media work. I don't know about you guys, but I think he loves the punditry. He loves being able to do all of that. There's no pressure on him. And if it is just sort of a part-time ambassadorial role to promote the club or whatever it may be, I think he's happy with that. Billy?
Let's remember, he did pack the punditry in before when we came calling for him. Well, I don't see why he can't do both, if I'm perfectly honest. It's not a full-on job, the ambassadorial role. maybe in summertime going around the world and spreading the word about Newcastle United, and when he's not working, obviously. But yeah, I think he can do both, if I'm perfectly frank.
Yeah, Daz?
You know what? I think he's just got too comfortable now in the media role, and he must like it. And he has the banter on screen and stuff with Ian Wright and Gary Lineker, and of course then he's writing for the Athletic as well with Lord George
He
Cook
does,
and Chris Wade, but Chris Waugh even, and but no, I would really have loved to see him try his hand at another club in the manager, see how he get on, and. But he's not. That ship has sailed now. I think he's not going to drop down a division to get that.
I'm not sure management is what Shearer wants. To be honest, I don't see him really like chomping at the bit to go back into management. I think he was severely put off it. And when you see some of the things he said about the run-ins with the players he had at Newcastle, I don't think Shearer wants the manager's job. I think he's happy doing what he does.
We need him, Paul. And this is why I kind of asked the question to you boys, because I actually think we need him in the media. We don't have any other Newcastle United representative that's high profile in the media, and Alan Shearer is that guy.
Anton Deck.
When they're
not quite the influence.
No, but from a football perspective, definitely it's that. And there are times where, particularly on the BBC Match of the Day, where there's certain pundits, your Danny Murphys, even like your Michael Richards, sometimes that don't necessarily give Newcastle the credit that we deserve, but Alan Shearer is always there to back us up and actually to give a narrative that the fans, from a fan's perspective. And he did it with Mike Ashley towards the end. He was always the one who was banging the drum about Mike Ashley and how bad he was for the club, when all the others would be talking positively about him and Steve Bruce. Alan Shearer, again, the way he talks about us now and the way he bigs us up and backs us, we need that in the media. Like you look at the Liverpools, the Man U's, the Tottenhams, even Genius, an ex-Newcastle player, played his best football for Newcastle, but is more aligned to Tottenham than us. Like. We need more of those representatives. I think we've had Kieran Dyer on Sky a few times. We've had Rob Lee here and there. I'd love someone like Warren Barton, who massively bigs up the club.
Oh, absolutely.
More of those ex-professionals that came and played for Newcastle to represent us in the media. Because look, we are massive, and we're going to continue to be massive for years to come. And we're going to need. They're going to need more ex-Newcastle players to represent us in the media, because. We're going to be fighting on all fronts in years to come. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Speaking of Kieran Dyer, there, just your friend Paul, True Geordie, it was the great show with Kieran Dyer.
He did, Dyer,
and then I enjoyed it so much. I went back and watched the one from about 4 years ago as well. So two really good shows there. Great insight into Kieran Dyer.
Yeah, he's had a tough time with it, Kieran Dyer, as well. I think people need to read. He's been through the mire, but it's good to see him come out the other side.
He's a man with lots of regret. I think absolutely loads of regret.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, and that's understandable because he literally had the world at his feet. He had pace, skill, he had everything. Bobby Robson loved the kid, and. When he was on fire, when he played for Newcastle, when he was on form, my God, what a player he was to watch. Just breathtaking. Chris's question for the lads: if we do get rid of Wood in January, which striker would you go for? For me, it has to be a young one, up-and-coming strike with potential. Anyone catch your eye at the World Cup? Ramos, Portugal, simple as that. Listen, we've been linked with him. I think... for him to come in and keep Ronaldo out the side, I think is incredible for the lad. He scored some really good goals, and it is known that we have been interested in him. So why not? He's young, he's up and coming, he's a good player. He's got all the attributes for me.
How much would he cost, though? That's the thing.
Oh, a shitload of money, Daz. But we listen. All these players that come to Newcastle are going to cost a shitload of money. We have to accept that. But we are now shopping in the Harrods of football now. We're not shopping at like Pound Stretcher or Wilco's anymore. We're up there with the big boys.
They would have sold for 40 million. They would have sold for 40 million in the summer. I think
they would, yeah. Which is a shame, but Anyway, Jay Bones says subscription done. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Jimmy says that'd be at 5K if it wasn't for Chris Hall. Oh my God. Oh,
He's on one tonight. Good old Jimmy.
Jimmy, man, honestly.
I love him.
Hope Chris saw that.
Well, he's put that underneath the comments, so I think he'll have seen it, definitely. No doubt about it.
Bless him.
Well, in fact, yes, he did see it. Jimmy, I bring the blaze to Loaded. There you go. He brings the blaze, he brings the moisturizer, he brings the lipstick. There you go, everything. Malk says, I love it when the two channels get together. Absolute class. Thank you very much, Malk. Mayo Mag, good evening. Foxy, agree. Great to see the two channels collab. Hope everyone's having a great Sunday. We are. Come on, TTR subscribers, Loaded or our brother channel. Hit the subscribe button. Absolutely. Chris says, I can vouch. Daz is 5'11". Well, there you go. But he's got laughing emojis next to it. So how do you take that comment? I mean, is it, you just don't know. But I noticed that Chris Hall's photo there is from about 25 years ago. Because that is not Chris Hall this day and age, I guarantee you, right? I mean, come on, guys, back me up here. That was taken many moons ago.
No, that's about a year and a half ago, I think.
Oh, piss off, Daz. No, I'm not having that. Not for a second.
I remember when he put it up.
No,
I remember.
Yeah, he might have put it up on the internet a year and a half ago, but it's been sitting in a photo album for 25 years. That's almost a bloody leaving school photo, that, man. Come on. I love you, though, Chris. You know I do. Wow. John Mitchison says, evening, everyone. I am disappointed the refs did not clamp down on diving and play acting in the World Cup. Well, there's a surprise. Right, just to give you a heads up, guys, please do go and, as we've said, subscribe to Loaded Mag NUFC. Very close to 5K subscribers. The link to their channel is right at the top of the description. Go and help them. They do deserve to be over 5K and a lot more. Obviously, our brother channel, so that we are working together for the foreseeable future now. So please do give them a real kick up the arse in a nice way by getting them over 5K. It'll make Daz very happy. And I tell you what, Daz, what you should do, right, is whoever is the 5,000 subscriber on Loaded Mag NUFC, you should get their name tattooed on your arse.
I'll tell you
we'll do something better, though, aren't we, Pete? We're enough tattoo references now in our channel. We should just be.
There's a lot of skin covering going to happen, I tell you.
We do have a massive prize to give away to our members, and we're just looking for an opportunity to give it away. Actually, now at this stage.
Well, there you go.
It's something we've never given away before, and it's massive for us. So. Sorry,
it's a night out with Daz.
you stole our thunder. You already know, Paul.
It's a ticket for England v Morocco in the World Cup semi-final.
Yeah. The one thing I was going to say, Paul, is that obviously we've been collabing for a while now. A lot of who watches Loaded, they come on and watch this show on the Toon Review and subscribe. So, and no doubt you boys will be on with us again on Loaded as well. So it's a great opportunity just to come over and just click the subscribe button and join in. And like you say, we are in a collab. We really enjoy working with you and vice versa. So it's a great, we've had a great chat tonight, a great laugh.
And it's good banter. It's always good banter,
and it's all about.
And some people think, oh, God, he doesn't like him or he doesn't like him. But people have to realize it's all banter. Despite the fact that, me and Daz go toe-to-toe with banter, that's exactly what it is. I mean, I love Daz to bits. I really do. And, it's all banter. Otherwise, if there was any niggly shit, then we wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? It's all banter. And that's the fun of it because, you've got the serious stuff to talk about, but you've also got to have the banter because if you don't have the banter, there's no point. And it just proves what a good set of people we all are, that we can have banter like that and laugh and have some fun with it. So that's what it's all about. So please do go and subscribe to Loaded Mag NUFC. Description right at the top of the description. Also, we are very close to 15.5, trying to hit 16,000. So please, if you're new to the Toon Review and you like what you see, please do hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we upload, because we do have a lot of opposition fans who are subscribers of the channel as well. So even if you just like your football banter, do subscribe to both channels. Yes, we're Newcastle United channels, but we do love talking about football as well. And also become a member of the Toon Review as well by hitting the join button just underneath the video itself. We've got lots of prizes coming up before Christmas for our members. So do get joined up. It's some really good prizes as well. And if you'd like to donate to the channel tonight, as a few people already have, hit that $sign at the bottom of the live comments, which will take you through that way. And finally, a last shout out. Susan is sending a merchandise order away at the end of this weekend. So if you want stuff in before Christmas, you need to get your order in tonight. We do have 2 new mugs on there. This one here, which is proving that I'm 6'5". For some reason, Billy is, he's smaller than Alex and just slightly bigger than Danielle. A lot thinner, yeah. It's amazing to think you can actually stand up on legs that thin, Billy.
Incredible.
Well, and then there's the other mug. Of course, our countdown to the show starting week in Arise. If you want one of those, get yourself the website and, of course, the car sign as well. Stick that in your back window or your side window. Promote the Toon Review if you do so wish. And that is all found on the Toon Review website right here.
So let's get down to business.
I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me if you like it. Tell me if you like it now. I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me how you like it.
Let's get down to business.
So there you go, the toonreview.co.uk, the place to go. So you've got till around 11:30 tonight if you want to order. And also, I've seen some horrendous stuff going on again on social media with horrible trolling and things like that. Not with us, but, just certain people. It's all over the place. It's sickening. So I'm going to play this one.
Here is Richard, in his own little world. Richard as a troll. He thinks it's cool to annoy everyone, as this makes him feel important.
Quality.
There you go. We've had that a while, Billy. I haven't played that for months, actually. But there you go. Just to remind everyone.
Just remember doing the sound effects for you.
Yes, you did. Indeed, the part in the spacesuit. Where you did that live on air as well. I didn't even ask you to do it. You just slipped over to the right and out it popped. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely. Let's have a look. Samsonite 6 packs is for young lads. Us men folk sport real kegs. Absolutely. Absolutely. Chris says, now, Paul, not all Scousers are rats, mate. I didn't say Scousers. I says Everton fans. So you're not one of those, Chris. Some of his family are, though, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Swiftly moving on. Chris says the transfer shows on TTR and Loaded are fantastic. To be fair, everyone should give both a watch. Very informative. Spacebar says, as per usual, if we aren't getting disposed of by PIF to buy Man United, we are getting linked to absolutely everyone. That ain't happening. Les says, when I used to go to the match, the turnstiles were that small, I looked like the Michelin Man going through.
Better that than looking like him walking up to it.
That's a good point. Yeah, absolutely. John says, will we be put through another 1,000 transfer links? Gets boring after a while. Well, it doesn't, John. It doesn't get boring because, we haven't had this for like 15 years, have we? We haven't had these transfer links. We haven't had all these fantastic players linked with the club. Come on, John. Would you rather listen to being linked with the likes of, Ramos from Portugal and all Diaby and all these players and Maddison? Or would you still like to be linked to Hamza freaking Chowdhury? I mean, come on.
Good point, Paul. And the other thing is, it does expand your football knowledge. Like, we'll start into January now, and we'll be linked to so many players. We go, who is that? Some of the players will be going, who is that? And you have to do a bit of research on them just to because who knows? They may end up we may end up putting in a bid or whatever. But it does, and then a player would pop up again. You go, oh, we talked about him about 2 seasons ago. I wonder what they're doing now. So it does make it interesting in that sense. As you said, yeah, it's better that than nothing.
Absolutely. Jimmy's back.
Oh no.
Daz's background looks like the drag nightclub in Smurf Village.
The old Smurf reference.
Dear me.
You were never going to get for a show without it being mentioned, Daz.
He's hammering you tonight, Daz. He's giving you
every
some
day.
grief, man.
And I'm so nice to Jimmy.
I know. Jax is brilliant, Jimmy. Matt also liking the reference. Shane, good morning out there in Aussie land. Do you think we'll play a stronger team against Bournemouth now that England and Brazil went home earlier? Trips, Pope, Wilson, and Bruno should be ready to go. Yes. I don't see any reason why not.
Hardly any mates in them, have they? Let's be honest. I mean, Trips played 2 games. Bruno's had about an hour. Wilson's had about the same. So, yeah, why not?
Yeah. And they'll be fit and ready to go because they've been training. You what, Pete?
I was just going to say it's a great way to prepare for Leicester.
Yeah.
Getting the boys back together, building up for fitness. For Leicester. Leicester's a massive game for me.
Huge.
You've got Leicester and Leeds over the Christmas period. I expect us to beat Leeds. Leicester in good form. If we can beat Leicester and go into Leeds with confidence, it sets up an absolute monster on the 3rd of January. Arsenal.
That
is the big one. But if we can get through with 2 wins in the build up to that, that's going to be like Clash of the Titans. Because, in my opinion, 2 out of the 3 best performing clubs in the Premier League this season. So it's a massive game.
Oh, it'll be a good one. Oh, Carlos says, I bet Daz is good at painting skirting boards. Why?
No idea.
I'm not sure
what is it a height reference?
Oh, yes, it could be. Oh, my dear God. Oh, God. Geordie, good evening to you. Lisa says, I will stand by my comment months ago. How will be our Alex Ferguson? Why not? Why the hell not? Why the hell not? Right. Just before we go, we are going to talk about the rest of the season, of course. We'll start with you, Daz. What are you expecting from Newcastle United now in the second half of the season?
Yeah, well, I want to see the early games that they hit the ground running, and then it's not a case of they falter and then we're going, oh, the bubble is burst here now. Now I did say at the start of the season, Anton 8th or higher, and I'm happy, and kind of have to reevaluate that a bit now because we are sitting in 3rd. I would like everyone absolutely love, and I do think it's possible, but have been saying it quietly that I think we could hopefully get the Champions League top 4 spot. But and that in contrast to what Billy was saying earlier, Billy, you were saying that you kind of if we didn't get it, it wouldn't be so bad because the expectations are building. But I'm thinking if we can somehow avoid it would be great if we get into Europe full stop. But if at first shot get into those Champions League spots, because if we get into the other European competitions, there's going to be more games on us. Now, I know we are going to expand our squad and we're bringing in bigger and better players as well, but it'll be more difficult to try and, I think it'll be that little bit more difficult to try and get a Champions League spot now. So if we can hit it first time, all the better. How good would that be?
Yeah, absolutely. Shane says this World Cup has got so much hate for weird reasons, but I personally think it's been one of the best World Cups I've witnessed. Well, everyone's going to have their opinion on it. I'm not sure. I'm still divided on that. I think the time of year that it's taken place has really put any sort of dampener on it because World Cups have always been in the summer. You get you come to the end of the season, then you get that build up for the World Cup, and you get yourself ready for it. This has been a very strange World Cup. It just stopping the season and then suddenly going to the World Cup and then the season kicking off again straight after the World Cup final. It's bizarre. And I hope we don't have another Winter World Cup for as long as I'm on the planet. Anyway, I don't get it.
Paul, can I just get in on that?
Yeah, of course you can.
Because during the start of this World Cup, there was a nice documentary on Sky, and it was like 4 weeks to change the world, and it was like the 1990 World Cup, and it was absolutely brilliant. You can probably catch it and play back, download it. But it was just everything that was going on. Like I was 10 when all that was happening, and it was obviously the first World Cup that Ireland got to as well. But it was just amazing.
Sorry, hang on. How old?
10.
Bullshit! I'm calling.
In 1990.
I'm calling it right now. I'm not having that. The amount of just for men you have to use these days, Daz. There's no way you were 10 back then.
I was 10. Yes.
I was 14, man. Come on.
I was 23. Christ.
All right, listen, Billy, you've seen a lot of World Cups.
I
think it's 5.
That's the best World Cup. 82, 90, the best 2 World Cups I've ever seen. I think since it went multi-corporate when the USA had it in 94, since then, I can pick out 1 or 2 World Cups that have been half decent. The 98 was probably the best.
82 is the first one I can remember because I was 6, but I can remember it. I can remember the Brazilian side. I remember bits of it. That's the first one I can really sort of say. It caught my eye. A 6-year-old kid loving football, and watching Brazil, and Italy had a great squad back then as well. Spain with, I remember who was the goalkeeper, Zubi Zareta.
Arcanada in 82.
Arcanada, and then it was Zubi Zareta after that, wasn't it? So Arcanada. They just had fantastic names. I mean, Arcanada. It sounds
not
like
as good as not as good as Lopez Ufarte. That was
Ufarte. Yeah, there's been some bizarre names, but yeah, it's interesting. Jimmy says, "Do anyone think Pickford's tiny arms cost him saving that first goal?" I did say that on the commentary last night, Billy, that I thought he should have saved that,
and he dived way too late, didn't he? He dived way too late. He dived just going past him.
I think he does as well. Yeah, he just seemed to delay the dive. I mean, it's not like he saw it late because he saw it way out. I mean, I don't get how it's gone anyway. What the hell?
The referee, Christ. I mean, he refereed the Iran game as well, didn't he? Or the American game. Absolutely diabolical. Absolutely diabolical.
Horrendous. I mean, there was a foul before the first goal anyway, which the first goal should have never happened. So it is what it is. Anyway, Peter, thoughts on the rest of the season for the Toon? Where do you see it going?
Who's Peter?
I'm using your Sunday name.
Yeah, I heard my mum calls me that. Jesus Christ.
I thought I would step it up a level and go all question time on you.
Yeah, you would. Look, I think like the 2012 season when we finished.
I've just missed me mouth with a bottle of Coke, by the way.
I saw that. Wow. It was clip it, whoever it is. Susan, clip it. Like 2012, when we finished 5th that season, we needed someone to inject a little bit of something different into us. And we went out and brought Papi Cisse. And he kind of, he was able to really drag us through a difficult period towards the end of the season. Great goal scoring run. We need 1 or 2 players to come in and do the same, because we're going to have down moments in this season. It's not all going to be roses, and it's not all going to be great. We're going to have times in the season where we're going to have to really slog out a result, and you're going to need elements of quality to make the difference. And although we've got quality in the team, those new players give a new lease of life to the squad. And having a new player come in and just lift the place, that's what we're going to need in January to take us through the next part of the season. I think if we get that, I think we get at least Europa League. So that puts us in 5th, 6th place at least, if we get that injection. And I think, honestly, I think top 5 is more than achievable if we get those players. that injects us and lifts us to the next level. At least top 5 for me.
Yeah, interesting. Ches says, I was 8 in 1990, had my first kiss too. Pity it was a hobo for sweets. Aaron says 86 and 90 were the best ones for him. Chris says, I'm playing catch up here. Hang on. That picture is just after we came out of lockdown. I had a decent tan and I was about 2 stone lighter, mind you. Need to get back in shape.
I knew it was not so long ago, yeah.
I feel your pain. I feel your pain, brother.
Yeah. Which lockdown was that? Was it COVID or
World War II?
Scarlet Fever? World War II. Jeez. Wow. Rachel saying, I'm not saying how old I was. Well, I don't think you should read, given what that bloke said to you outside the ground. Oh dear. Never mind. Rachel's not giving her age away, of course, because she knows that a certain man in Puerto Rico will probably be watching. But there you go. Mary says, "Why don't sweets ever say wide fitting? Love it. Might work better." Interesting. Right, Billy. Your thoughts on the second half of the season?
I definitely think we need an impetus of a signing or two, like Pete says. I just don't think it's feasible that our squad players that we didn't think we had, decent ones that is, can perform to the same level as they have for the whole season. So I think that's definitely needed. And if we do have a little bad spell, the press are going to be all over it, like Daz says. Pressure will be ramped up, to kind of say, "Oh, these were a flash in the pan," kind of thing. But we may well have a bad spell. We may well do. But the key is sticking with the team, sticking with them, not getting on the backs, not criticising. And it's hard to do. We've all done it. We've all criticised in the past. But I think we'll be okay. I honestly do. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll hit the ground winning. And I think when we do get a spell of games together, like we did earlier in the season, and we only lost the one against Liverpool, which we shouldn't have lost, I can see us definitely finishing top 6. And I'll be happy with that, as I said earlier.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think, as long as we don't have a calamity, I think top 6 is a very, very realistic opportunity for us. And I also think that, top 4 is an opportunity for us. Why not? I mean, who's to say that we can't keep performing like we are? Maybe with 1 or 2 more additions to that starting 11. Who knows? We've surprised a lot of people. So, let's be honest. I'm really excited to see where we go with the second half of the season. I'm excited to see what we do in January. I know Eddie Howe's playing at Coy, but he always does. If there's a player available and Eddie Howe wants it, I think the owners will. The owners are surprised where we are. I think that it's taken everybody by surprise, and the fact that we know what the owners are like. They want success at this football club, and they want it as soon as they can. And if we've got an opportunity to get some sort of success this season, then they will support Eddie Howe. And I think they support him anyway. So I'm really excited to see what will come along. Rachel says, I'm never going to forget that. No, I won't forget it either, Rachel. It's just that kind of generation, isn't it? Those of you that don't know, poor Rachel, she was chatting away to us outside the ground. And a fella came up and says he watches the channel and he really enjoys it. And I introduced him to Rachel. What I said was, this is Francisco's future wife. And he said, "Oh, you don't look like you do on your profile picture. How long ago was that taken?"
Fucking hell.
But it was said in a way that the older generation just say it. It wasn't meant in any kind of nastiness or anything like that. But it was bizarre. Chris says we can definitely finish in the top 4. Like Billy, though, I feel we end up 6th, which would still be a fantastic achievement. Jimmy, Daz would have seen more of the '90 World Cup had he not been in a locked room with a sock and a copy of Playboy.
Ireland in the 1990s. I don't think Playboy was around then.
No, I don't think it was either. God.
Let's not forget, Ireland had a fantastic World Cup in 1990.
Did you?
Absolutely, yeah. We'll always remember that. Packy boy and all that,
yeah. Toto, yeah.
Absolutely.
By the way, Dad, you said you watched that programme. Toto Scalacci's had some work done, hasn't he? He certainly had a hair transplant.
His hair definitely something
he looks
going on
younger
there.
now, then.
Yeah, definitely, and it's also a great show. Just because the history around what was going on in Yugoslavia, and just before the war there, and then the breakup, of course, and then the Cameroon as well, and Roger Miller, and Sir Bobby, and England's run in Gaza. It just has a bit of everything. It's in 3 parts. I definitely recommend it to everyone.
Brilliant watch.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Daz watched that show of Scalacci and thought, "Oh, I'm in for a bit of that." And there you go. Obviously, it's blatantly obvious. You look at the lads from Loaded, all like smooth skinned and buttery figures and all of this, and you think, wow, Chris Hall is definitely doing a job with them with Avon, isn't it? I mean, he must have bags of stuff in his garage just to send out to you guys whenever you're required. And thinking, oh, I've got a few little pigeon feet here. Chris Hall is on the job straight away. No problem, Daz. I've got something special for you. $9.99. It's just fantastic. Pete Davey looks about 10 years younger than he should be. It's obvious. I mean, I don't know why Loaded Mag aren't just sponsored by Avon. I just don't. I mean, I've never seen Martin, smooth skin on one screen.
Have you seen Martin?
Well, Martin,
does it blow that theory out of the water?
Well,
there's always an exception to the rule. There's always a before and after picture.
Yeah, Martin may be allergic to the moisturizer or something like that. Good evening, mate. But you never know. I just noticed that, and Rich and his smooth, silky baby backside, bald head. That's product enabled that without a shadow of a doubt. So well done, Chris. You're doing a fab job. And he said, "It's what I do, Paul." Indeed. Rachel, I hope you don't mind me telling the story of what happened outside the ground. But he says, Paul's face was a classic at that comment. Yes, I didn't know where to put my face, never mind anything else. I just wanted to exit that situation very quickly. Rachel says, Chris, where's my bloody lipstick? Daz is sponsored by Nivea, and I take it he meant to say put a D in front of that, but Chippers, you've had a monumental Castoria there. Jimmy. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
New territory now. New territory.
Well, Chris has blamed the Royal Mail, Rachel. Indeed. On that note, we will end the show. Listen, thank you so much to everybody that spent the Sunday evening with us and had a bit of banter. It feels great to be able to talk Newcastle United again and building up to what should be a cracking second half to the season. Thank you to everybody that super chatted, new members, etc., and who have gone across and obviously subscribed to the Loaded channel. Just to remind you again, the link is right at the top of the description. So go and give them a subscribe, get them up to 5K where they actually deserve and more. And for us as well, if you're new to our channel, please do hit the subscribe button as well. And of course, the notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we upload a video. Become a member of the Toon Review, of course, by hitting the join button just underneath. Lots of prizes coming up before Christmas for merchandise and stuff like that. And of course, nip across to toonreview.co.uk if you want some merchandise, mugs, key rings, whatever. Head over there because there is an order going in later on tonight. So hopefully I'll see my phone pinging after the show with lots of orders to be sent out because I'm a master with the fragile tape and my label printer. I love it. So, yeah, thank you very much. Daz, Pete, thank you very much for your company this evening. Billy as well. It's been great. We will, of course, be continuing this. We will next be on the Loaded channel for this show, where Daz will return to the host with the most, and God knows what will happen. Jimmy says, thanks, Chris and Daz, for being good sports. Well, that's the whole point of it. We're all good sports. We all love a good laugh and a bit banter, which is what it's all about. So thank you very much. What's coming up on Loaded, guys?
Yeah, well, we have a show tomorrow night. We just chatting to Pete half an hour before the show kicked off. We had confirmation. We were talking about this for a while. We were trying to do it while this guest was in Saudi Arabia, but time did not allow. So we're going to have a collective review of the whole experience. But Pete, tell us.
Yeah, well, he's a regular on Loaded Mag NUFC. Jordan Cronin of Newcastle World will be joining us to kind of just review his experience of Saudi Arabia and talk about the friendly and Newcastle lifting a trophy. So 7:30 tomorrow we'll be on, and Jordan will be there talking all things Newcastle and giving us a little bit of a lowdown of what he kind of found out when he had a little bit of an interview with Eddie Howe whilst over there. So and I'm sure there'll be a number of other shows that we'll be putting out on social media. So
yeah, and I would just like to point out as well, a lot of people message me saying, how come you and Loaded are going on at similar times? Look, we're not in competition with each other, but the beauty about YouTube is, if you don't watch one of the shows live, you can go and watch the other one straight after because it's on YouTube. And that's the beauty of YouTube rather than being on TV where you're stuck watching one channel and recording the other and it doesn't go right. YouTube, you can watch one show, then go and watch the other. And so it doesn't matter when we're on, you get to see both shows regardless, whether it's live or later on. So
it's not always a straight clash, Paul,
no, it's not. It's not. But when it does, people think, oh, they're going on together. What's going on there? It's nothing. It's just, it's the time of night that suits all the people that are on the channel. You know what I mean? It's not like we can just click our fingers and do it at different times. If that was the case, then we would. But look, that's the beauty of YouTube. You can watch one show, then watch the other. The views will still be the same.
I think you made a really good point there. Is that you can go back and watch, another channel and catch up with shows and all the rest of it. There seems to be not necessarily on here or even on Loaded, but just in general, there just seems to be that if you watch one channel, you can't watch another, and it seems to be you have to be kind of pigeonholed into one, and it's like a kind of a siege mentality. Oh, well, I support this channel, so I'm not going to watch that one. And so, like you said, just between the two channels, we do things differently. Like what you do on the Toon Review is brilliant, and we admire that, and we're huge supporters of that. We do things slightly differently, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that,
no, of course not.
For various different reasons, that's why we do it. But why not as a fan of both channels, like benefit and watch both and enjoy both and admire both for what they are. And when we come together like this, you can see the different styles of both shows coming together, which is why it makes such for such.
Listen, the bottom line, Pete, is if everybody was the same, it would be pretty boring to watch YouTube, wouldn't it? So it would really be. Lisa also says, don't forget you can even listen to Loaded on Spotify and catch up too. Great for when driving. Well, Lisa, you can do that on the Toon Review as well. I just want to point that out. This show will be up on Spotify and iTunes and your favorite podcast provider in about an hour's time. So don't forget that. But yes, you've got Spotify and iTunes as well and things like that to listen to shows as well if you don't catch them live. So there's a whole array of ways that you can listen to your two favorite channels. So there you go. But listen, thank you very much, everybody. And we'll be back probably tomorrow. Obviously, we'll try and find out where Alex is. I think he's gone to see Santa Claus, to be honest. He might be Santa's little helper. Who knows? He might be in Lapland now.
I've heard he's gone to see his favourite childhood pop band. It's his aha moment.
I wonder if he'd be crying Wolf Billy.
Possibly.
Ooh, time to... No, let's not get into that. It's too late. Right. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Have a fantastic week, whatever you're doing. And we'll see you very soon on both channels. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Lads and lasses.